Arsenal Football Club have submitted an offer for 27-year-old Lazio's Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. The offer is thought to be around 55 million euros. That is 47 million pounds. Lazio wants 60 million pounds to sell the player this summer. Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Thank you so much for joining me once again. Arsenal have offered a new bid for Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. The player has always been linked with Arsenal, Man United, and a couple of other huge top clubs around Europe. The question is, why are Arsenal bidding for Sergej Milinkovic-Savic while we are very, very open to signing Yuri Tielemans as a priority? And also, who is this guy? What exactly does he do? And what are his statistics? And what are his strengths and weaknesses? Everything you need to know about Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, not the deal, but the player, you will find out in this video. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the podcast. We're getting closer to 52,000. And of course, let's get the video to 800 likes if you would be kind enough to do so. Now, in the last 48 hours, Arsenal has been linked with a couple of players, including midfielders. And very, very closely, we've been linked to a very particular name, and that has been Amadou Onana. However, at the moment, it looks like Arsenal have shockingly and surprisingly gone for a very different option, and that is Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. Now, it is not shocking that Arsenal have made a bid for Sergej Milinkovic-Savic or that they are interested in him. First and foremost, he's a player that Arsenal have tracked even last summer, even in January. This name has kept on popping up on the Arsenal transfer radar until now, when Arsenal have decided to make a bid for the 27-year-old. However, also, we have to understand that Arsenal are looking for such a player who can play in the central midfield, an upgrade to Granit Xhaka, but also one that can play comfortably in those three midfield roles as a central midfielder, as an attacking midfielder, and also as a defensive midfielder. What exactly does Mikel Arteta see in Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, and does this deal really impact the Yuri Tielemans deal? I know what you're asking in the comment section now. Cossy, are we not signing Yuri Tielemans again? Okay, we'll talk about that. We'll really dive into that. But Sergej Milinkovic-Savic first. He is a player who predominantly plays as a central midfielder, a position, like I said, the Arsenal are really trying to find a player we can recruit. Jack has been playing at Arsenal in that role even last season, really consistent. One of the best seasons he's ever had in an Arsenal jersey. But we've got to agree, and we have all agreed as Gunners, that Xhaka having a good season still isn't enough. He's still not good enough to play in that central midfield role at times on the left-hand side of the attacking, of the attacking midfield. So Arsenal have identified two players that could do that. One is Yuri Tielemans. We talked about Yuri Tielemans yesterday extensively in a video. And the other is Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. Now, what is interesting here for me, lads, is Arsenal have never made a bid for Yuri Tielemans whatsoever. We are leading the rest. The player is 100% sold to a move to Arsenal, and he was mentioned as a priority, as Arsenal's priority this summer by David Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano. But Arsenal have never come out to make a bid for Yuri Tielemans. However, we have made a bid, 55 million euros, that is 47 million pounds, for Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. Now, you have got to understand that 55 million euros is almost double what Arsenal would be paying for Yuri Tielemans. So the question is why? Why Sergej Milinkovic-Savic? Why not Yuri Tielemans first? Why are we trying to sign Sergej? Why are we not trying to sign Yuri Tielemans as quick as possible? Because it's a deal we can easily push over the cliff. Now, the player himself has a very, very interesting profile. As a central midfielder, he's one that really gets involved into scoring goals and also creating a lot of chances. When you look at his statistics last campaign, you will be really, really intrigued to see. This is what he did. 37 appearances in the Italian Serie A for Lazio, 11 goals and 11 assists. In the campaign before that, 32 games, 8 goals and 9 assists. And the campaign before that, he played 37 games as well, and assisted 4 times and also scored 7 times. His best season, I think, was last campaign in 2021-2022 when he scored 11 times and also assisted 11 times. So last season, in 37 appearances, he had 22 goal contributions. Do you understand? Do you get where we are driving to? I think that is the kind of player Mikel Arteta is looking out for in the market. Those numbers, do they point to you? Do they bring out who Yuri Tillemans is? Do you see the picture of Yuri Tillemans' statistics when you look at Sergej Milinkovic-Savic? I think you do. You're looking at 2 players who are very, very comfortable on the ball, but very, very occasionally, actually not occasionally, but very often will find themselves into the penalty area of the opponent and will find themselves affecting the final third. And I think that's what Mikel is trying to look out for. He's looking for a player, not just a sideways passer like Xhaka, but a player who can attack the game, a player who can have attacking numbers and attacking statistics. That is Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. He's a pure central midfielder. According to the transfer market, he can play predominantly. He's been playing in 2 positions with Lazio, and that is the attacking midfield role. Probably it explains why he's got those numbers, 11 goals for a central midfielder. The last time we were looking for one, it was Hausemuwa. He had those numbers, and they were quite very interesting. But the fact that he has also been playing that attacking midfield role explains why he has 11 goals and 11 assists last campaign. So if you look here on the SofaScore website, what they've done, they've given us his seat map, and that is it. He's one of the players that are really, really fascinating in my opinion. He has more touches and more passes in the opponent's half rather than in his own half. As a central midfielder, we've looked at Thomas Partey, we've looked at a couple of players playing in that area. They predominantly have more passes in their own half than in the opposition half, on the opponent half. Now, Sergej Milinkovic-Savic is not that kind of player, and his heat map here will actually bring out the best of what I'm trying to show you and what I'm trying to explain. If you look at the red pattern there in his heat map around here, you look at the better red of his presence is always in the opposition half, and there is little or very, very little red here in his own half. So he's one of those players that are really going to impact the game for Arsenal if he signs, or for any club that he goes to, or even for Lazio, by making sure that when he picks up the ball, he's gonna turn and push forward. Now, we had that problem when Thomas Partey picked up an injury midway the season. We introduced Mohamed Elneny, and he played very, very well defensively. However, the problem was that Mohamed Elneny does not have the ability to pick up the ball in deeper areas, just like Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, and then turn and dribble with it. I think the difference between the two, Elneny and Savic, is Elneny is a very, very good defensive piece, and Milinkovic-Savic is a very, very good, attacking piece. That is the difference between the two. So I think, and if you have watched Tottenham Hotspur and you've seen Rodrigo Bentancur, you will understand what I'm talking about. A player who really plays deep in the midfield, but really, really loves to just stand with the ball. He's very, very okay. He's very, very comfortable on the ball. Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. If you get a chance to see him, you can check out his clips on YouTube, or you can check out his clips on, I don't know, anywhere. The only place I know is YouTube. But you can also watch a couple of Lazio games, and what you see in him is a player who is very, very, he's a bowler. And when I mean what I mean by is a bowler, is a player comfortable on the ball. He's gonna pick up the ball and drive forward. So, like I said, he's one of the players that are averaging more touches in the opposition half than in his own half. And according to the SofaScore website here, you can also see that the two positions that is played in for Lazio is played as a midfield central, as a central midfielder, and also in the attacking midfield. That is where he has been actually playing. Key strength for the player: high pressing, aerial duels, and direct free kicks. So one of the things you're looking at there is a high presser, a player who allows the team press high up the pitch, and that's why much of his presence, whether the team has or doesn't have the ball, is always in the opposition half, because his technique and his ability is to help the team win the ball back high up the pitch in the opposition half before they cross over to our own side. And then you have direct free kicks. Of course, we know very much that Arsenal needs someone who can specialize in that in the team. But then the other thing you've noticed here is the aerial duels. I'm gonna tell you something very interesting. He's 1.91 meters tall. When we were talking about players that can give you that alternative to Thomas Partey, we talked about Wilfred Ndidi, and we talked about his area presence, and we talked about the fact that he was 1.91 meters tall, which allows him to dominate other players, other midfielders in the air. So you win area duels in the midfield as compared to other teams that could have the likes of Bernardo Silva. I'm just sorry, right? But so that is one of the key abilities of Sergej Milinkovic. His height, which is 1.91, and when you look at him, actually, he's a really, really tall guy. He's a very, very tall guy, up in the air. So Arsenal bidding for him exactly means they're looking for these three attributes. One, we are looking for a player who can give you assists and goals right from deep into the midfield. If we're going to play a 4-3-3, it means every part of our midfield must be able to create chances at a very terrific rate. So you cannot play Yves Bissouma and Thomas Partey in a 4-3-3. The reason, in my opinion, is although Thomas Partey is a very great creative midfielder, no, he's not. The truth, he's not, right? So although people feel Thomas Partey would give us that great creativity, he cannot give you enough. So it would leave all the burden to Martin Odegaard or Fabio Vieira, depending on the kind of number 10 that Mikel Arteta will decide to go for. So what Mikel is trying to do here, just like on the front line, he's trying to find players that can score goals across his front line, and he's trying to find players that can create assists and also score goals across the midfield. And that is why reason one why Sergej Milinkovic-Savic is desperately wanted by Mikel Arteta. But then the second reason that I've seen, and we've also talked about it in terms of his ability and area ability, is a player to sit in for Thomas Partey. Now, I think, although he's predominantly played as a central midfielder and also as an attacking midfielder, with what Mikel Arteta is trying to do, he might be able to play in a single pivot. He's a very, very good passer of the ball. He's a very, very comfortable boy on the football. And also, I think if Arsenal brought him in and placed him alongside Odegaard and Fabio Vieira, he would help us create a low block, because the guy is a very, very physical guy. So he'd create that kind of low block when Thomas Partey is away. But then he would be that kind of pivot that allows us go forward most of the time and create lots of chances. Actually, if you look at some of the statistics here on FBref, you will be absolutely intrigued. These are the very, very strong attributes of his game. One, you're looking at progressive passes, and in that percentile versus other midfielders, he stands at 98%. Touches in the penalty area, 98% percentile. Shots in total, per 90, he also stands in the 98 percentile. And also number of expected goals per 90, he's standing in the 98 percentile. So if we look at these statistics per 90, this is what they are. Pass completion 81.3, passes attempted 67, pressures applied 15.7, progressive passes 6.1, progressive carries 4.7, progressive passes 4.6. So what you're noticing there in his statistics as a midfielder is his game is attack minded, one, but he has other advantages to offer than Yuri Tillemans. His defensive part of the game is not as weak as that of Yuri Tillemans. So I won't be very surprised if Yuri Tillemans doesn't join Arsenal and then Sergej Milinkovic-Savic joins. But I'm going to do a video about the two players and comparing the both of them, trying to look at why exactly is Sergej Milinkovic-Savic better than Yuri Tillemans. Many of you will not agree to that, but I think he's definitely a better upgrade to Xhaka than Tillemans is.